January 29th, 2024, when she and her family were massacred in Gaza, the Israeli government has been in full denial that this even occurred, that it wasn't, that they made it up. The Hasbara was very strong for quite a while. And unfortunately, they were able to get away with what they got away with. And when I look at this young girl, as we all do, I want to preface this with, I forgot, Jen has gone on me, so I will preface this. This is Hind Rajab's last words before she was killed.
أجي أخذك حبيبتي طيب أنا يا حبيبتي رح أجي
It's a reminder of why we do what we do. And if anybody ever defends Israel, just remember they're defending this. They are. There's no getting around it. And just remember, Hind Rajab is one of hundreds of thousands of kids that have been killed.
And the reason we bring this up now is because we've mentioned this multiple times. And really, it is very symbolic of the hundreds of thousands of Palestinian children that have been killed. Probably somewhere near 500,000. Probably near somewhere like 500,000 children have been killed. And I know that she is just one of those, but I'm never getting her little voice out of my head. So I feel like if I have to hear that in my head for the rest of my life, I'm going to keep talking about it.
Same.
So that's
and I want to remind people, and this is actually something that hits home a lot with conservatives. This happened to your daughter, what would you do?
Oh, well, honestly, no. I feel like that. And it happened to this little girl who I never met before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that. So it doesn't need to be my daughter. She could be my daughter. Doesn't matter. That's the whole point. I don't need it to be my daughter.
What do you surmise is the reason that they're coming forward with this now?
I'm not sure. I know that there are a few different investigations that are underway. I know there was this one, and then there's also the one that involved where they buried the first responder trucks. They're also, they're doing an investigation into that incident. There are a few incidents that the Israelis are self-investigating, which of course we know is ridiculous. But we are a step closer in this particular case of some form of justice, as now we at least have an admission. We at least have an admission. Not that we didn't know this anyway, because we knew this. We knew this. 355 bullet holes in that car. So we knew they came from somewhere. So this is what is going on right now is the part of the investigation. We have now reached a point where they're admitting it. Do you want to read? You want me to read? What do you want to do?
You can't make a statement like that and not let us know which channel you're referring to. We would love to troll the Zionists as much as humanly possible.
I don't want to. I honestly, I take so many hours a day to research the stuff I do want to know. Why do I want to be somewhere with people that disgust me?
Fair enough. Israel admits its soldiers fired at a car in which Hind Rajab was killed. Military orders, criminal investigation into death of 5-year-old and 6 family members in Gaza in 2024. Okay.
Okay, guys, wait. Media literacy 101. Go back, look at the headline. Passive tense. Hind Rajab was killed. She was killed. So they admit, the soldiers admit that they fired at that car, and that's the car in which she was killed. Do you see that? No. Translate. Israel admits that it killed Hind Rajab. That's what that says. I feel like I have to translate it because, and again, this would be pretty much across the board in any Western news outlet. So just pay attention. Passive voice. She was just killed. We don't know by who. She was just killed.
Military orders, criminal investigation into the death. So you can scroll and you can see this darling little kid.
I can't. I just can't.
Keep going. The Israeli military admitted on Wednesday its troops had opened fire on a car carrying 5-year-old Hind Rajab and 6 family members in Gaza in 2024, saying it had ordered a criminal investigation into the killing. Yeah, we've investigated ourselves and found out we did nothing wrong. We know that that's how it's going to go. The killing of Hind and her family was one of the most high profile of a series of incidents involving civilian casualties during the first months of Gaza's conflict, which prompted international outrage. Again, it never ended. And
I love, and of the fact that it's still the Gaza conflict.
Yeah.
It's a conflict, people. It's a conflict. A little conflict.
Hind died after a desperate 3-hour phone call to the Palestinian Red Crescent on January 29th, 2024, in which she pleaded for rescue. Family's Kia Picanto car had been hit as they sought to flee. Why don't you tell them how many times they fired on the car?
My knowledge was 355. Somebody can look it up because they did do, there was forensics done on it, and there was an art installation, a memorial art installation where they replicated the car, and it gave the information. I cannot remember where that was, but I believe it's like 355 times. That's apparently how many times that took.
Perhaps the reason it is coming out now, according to Lee Argent, who's over in the UK, evidently the guys who gave the orders to fire upon that car, Hezbollah got them. So
yes, we talked about that. Well, he had been critically injured. The main, remember we talked about it. That was one of our Hind Rajab updates, was the officer who gave the order was critically injured. Now, do we know? Excuse me. Do we know if he died
is he
or
in
not?
fact dead? I mean, yeah. I mean,
okay. Well, there's more than one person, but yes, we do know that some of those people have been dealt with by Hezbollah. But yes,
all the passengers were also killed. Yeah, obviously.
She was there with them all dead. When that 3-hour conversation happened, for people who do not know, she was the only one alive in the car. I think her cousin might have been alive very briefly, another girl, another cousin, but everyone was, by the end of that, she was the only person alive. She was sitting there alone with her dead family, with blood coming out of her mouth, worried that she was going to get blood on her clothes.
The only way that there is going to be justice for Hind, for anybody else, is going to be the collapse of empire. There is no other way. People like this do not get prosecuted. Systems don't get prosecuted. When people ask themselves, why is it that pederasts, part of the Jeffrey Epstein ring, do not get prosecuted or are not brought to justice, there isn't vigilante justice going on, it's because these people run the show. And when you run the show, the only way out of it is revolution. There just isn't any other way, because they're not.
I think that a lot of these people, okay, there will be vengeance. Sure. There will be. I'm not saying I'm doing anything. Again, I'm unarmed. But I assure you, while there might not be judicial justice, there will be some justice for some of the people, at least the ones that we know did this.
For sure.
They'll be hunted. You're right. They don't need to be tried. They'll be hunted.
Yeah, but that's what should happen. It's not a quick. There is, again.
Exactly.
This is Dachau all over again. There is no justice. You just take them in the back and you shoot them in the head. I mean,
I don't do that. But yet,
that's the only way you're going to get justice. You're not going to get it in the courts.
No, so, this is one of those things that has to be handled
by the street.
Old school.
I want you to get this fuck where he breathes. I want you to find this Nancy boy, Elliot Ness. I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want his house burnt to the ground. I want to go to the middle of the night. I want to piss on his head.
Old school.
Yes.
Yes.
The IDF, the IOF, repeatedly denied its troops had been in the area near the incident. No, we only have you on camera in like 7 different angles. But investigations by media and other found evidence that strongly suggested nearby Israeli tanks were responsible.
Well, that, and who else would it be?
Look at that car.
I know. They would like for us to believe that Hamas would just sit there and waste 355 bullets in a car of civilians.
Oh, they absolutely would waste them because that's what they do. They're wasteful, despicable people who got off on doing this. Remember, they have the right to defend themselves, guys. Palestinian paramedics dispatched an ambulance to rescue Hind and stayed on the line until contact was lost. But the ambulance, too, came under fire, killing 2 medics. The body of the casualties were only retrieved 12 days later when Israeli troops withdrew.
Also, by the way, that's how long it took for Hind Rajab's mother to be able to get her child's body. She had to just sit there and wait, knowing it was just sitting there in that car. Mm-hmm.
The bodies of the casualty, the IOF also admitted on Wednesday that troops had fired on the ambulance. Yeah, just like every other Zio bastard out there who suggests that there's no way that the most moral army in the world would ever blow up a hospital. No, they just do target practice on ambulances. Following review of the findings and due to alleged failures in the coordination of the movement of the Palestine Red Crescent ambulance, it has been decided to initiate a criminal investigation of the incident by Military Police Criminal Investigation Division. Yeah, lots of divisions. Nothing's coming of this. By the way, nothing is coming of this.
No, but again, these people will be hunted. Yes. And eventually when Ziohel ceases to exist and they scamper like the vermin that they are, eventually it will come back. And I'm happy that Hezbollah has been able to, you know, work their magic on some of those people, but there's a lot more.
And can we just say for a minute, when I hear anybody, and I do mean anybody, and this especially goes for the people we're going to be addressing that supported Wasserman Schultz in South Florida, when they talk about Hamas, do you understand that the Palestinian people do not have a standing army? Their army is Hamas. That's the people who protect them from the psychopathic Israelis. One person's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter. And it is going to come out in the not too distant future that October 7th was another 9/11. It was a total setup. It was it came to pass exactly as it was intended.
Yep.
And nothing is going to come of it unless there's a revolution. You have the worst Zio bastard walking the earth today, the Minister of Defense, as they call him, saying we have to kill 30 to 40 Palestinian children every single day. Every day, on camera, says it on a podcast. We must kill these children every day. That fat fuck's getting his. Like it's going.
Well, and this is what we were talking about.
Is going to get his. There's no
we were talking about it. Peter and I were talking about it. He's not affluent enough. He's not in the club enough.
No, he's too much
to be able to withstand the fall of the Zio state. So when some of them have their sort of proverbial parachutes, he's not going to have one.
Correct. He is the Timo, or he is the bizarro version of Kissinger. Kissinger was considered an aristocrat. Aristocrats always manage to skate. They're part of high society. Gavir is an animal. He is literally a human gorilla. And that is why he will eventually
This is the thing. We cannot compare him to animals or gorillas because it's really insulting to anything else. I say vermin, you know, but it's like, you know, gorillas are infinitely safer than Ben Gvir. In fact, if you gave most ladies the choice of the man or a gorilla, just like the bear, guess what? We're going with the gorilla.
Okay, so can I call him a baboon? Is that acceptable?
No, that's also not cool, even though they're assholes. I mean, they're assholes.
Literally.
Genocidal. Yes, I know, but they're not genocidal that I'm aware of.
I don't know. They're pretty. They're land moving piranhas, as far as
you're right. David Hunter, vermin are people too, guys. We're gonna have to come up with something else for these people. They're not even people.
Yeah, something else. I think about it.
I'm so angry. I'm so angry, and I'm so angry that I feel angry, and I'm angry that I wish bad things on people because that's the kind of negative shit that comes back to bite you in the ass. Like I spend so much time not wanting to have negative shit in my head, like in terms of like bad wishes. I don't like that, because ultimately I do believe that you get what you put out there in this world. And now I find myself sitting here and I am putting out very bad thoughts and and I'm so angry that I feel this way. And unfortunately, we can't control that. We can't control our thoughts and our feelings. So now I'm stuck having what I would think, like 10 years ago, I would find to be psychopathic thoughts in my head. And I don't know that they're ever going to go away now. And I have people like that piece of shit to thank for that. Because it didn't just happen. I didn't just wake up one day and started thinking evil shit.
Well, that's why I've been saying for the longest time that Hind Rajab is a symbol. You know, she's like the bat signal.
That's why it doesn't need to be my daughter.
Correct.
I could tell you right now that I would have no problem ridding the world of anybody who was involved in any of this. I would have no problem doing it. I would have no problem doing it in person.
Yeah.
How about that?
What you also have to remember is that Hind Rajab, if there's anything to take away from her death, it's that her voice will live on generation after generation after generation. Think about the hundreds of thousands of other children whose voices will never be heard, who were taken, and no one's going to know about it. That's why her voice is so important and why we never let up on this story. We've covered this many times, but it encapsulates exactly what this genocide has been all about. It is targeting innocent children. It is the way it has always been. Their genocidal ideology is about erasing history, creating a new one, and writing it as they see fit, at our expense, no less. It's not like we're watching some ethnic cleansing going on in a part of the world where we are not interconnected economically. Let me tell you something. There is a major multifamily investment firm in this country called Hager International. Jordan Sloan is the head of it. This is a person who is a multi-billionaire. He owns thousands upon thousands of multifamily units throughout this country. He is a major donor of the IOF and everything related to Israel. So when I tell you that this stuff goes to the very top of the people who run the economic order around the world, that is exactly why they're doing what they're doing and getting away with it.
So Crazy Cat. Oh, sorry. We're on the real estate tangent.
No, I'm real estate. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the guy who owns all the commercial properties.
I'm talking about the connection as to why they get away with this.
Oh.
They get away with it because they have the money. And money brings power. And it doesn't mean that people like these people. It just means that they are willing to capitulate because the system demands that you do. That's all. Criminal misconduct investigations into Israeli troops over the killing of Palestinians rarely lead to convictions, and this won't either. The IOF published reviews on Wednesday into 4 other high-profile incidents in Gaza, saying it was launching a criminal investigation into the killing in near the southern city. You fucking people, how you fucking write sometimes, I swear to God. The southern city of Rafah of 15 Palestinian medics and humanitarian personnel in March of 25. Would you like to continue, please?
Troops lying in ambush for Hamas militants initially shot at an ambulance that was trying to retrieve casualties from an Israeli offensive, then fired on a series of emergency vehicles which approached their positions, according to the footage. The soldiers then bulldozed over the bodies and vehicles, burying them in a mass grave. UN rescue workers were only able to reach the site a week later. They were killed in their uniforms. Now, the only reason, by the way, that we even know this was because one of those rescue workers had his phone on his body, and it was able to get some footage and have, I believe, audio for sure of what was going on. And it was not what they're saying. But again, I don't know why we are surprised. I mean, we don't need to really read this whole thing. It was more about the update of what was going on with Hind Rajab with that case. But they're not, of course, there's not going to be any justice in the system. That's not going to happen here. No, that's going to have to be handled elsewhere.
The Israeli military initially said it had opened the fire because the vehicles were advancing suspiciously.
Well, now they're right. But now they're talking to about that other case. It's not the Hind Rajab. That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't need to finish this part because that's the other case they're looking into.
Keep scrolling, please. How much more does it have, Colin?
Yeah, I mean, this
Nice.
was just about the Hind Rajab thing. That for me, it was just about the update on that they are finally have admitted that they actually shot the vehicle. So that is the key thing. So I think
here's one reminder that I do want to point out to people. The IDF said it had decided not to open a criminal investigation into the April 2024 airstrikes that hit a convoy of World Central Kitchen vehicles,
right,
killing 7 humanitarian workers from the US-based aid group, which had distributed food in Gaza throughout the war. That is not a war. The aid group said at the time it had coordinated with the military over the movement of its cars. The vehicles, which had the group's logo on their roofs, visible from the air, were left incinerated and mangled, indicating a series of targeted strikes.
of course it was.
We've
seen it repeatedly.
Yeah.
We've seen it repeatedly. But then again, we just triple tapped a girls' school in Iran not that long ago. So,
when you are dealing with not a narcissistic, not a sociopathic, when you are dealing with a psychopathic culture and their ideology, and you give them carte blanche immunity to run roughshod over the world, you're going to get animals within their ranks that will take pleasure in mass killing people. Think of, and again, the similarities between these guys and the Nazis is incredible. Think back to Amon Goff, who was the commandant at, was it Dachau? Get which, whatever the prison camp that he worked with Schindler. Point is, he would do target practice. He would shoot people dead because he was having fun. Yeah. And that's what these people do. They just shoot people dead because it's fun. That's all. There is no humanity. There is no negotiating with them. There has to be an end to these, to everything that they represent here in the United States. There was a person that I was potentially working with on a deal that I'm not going to get into further detail on, but I will tell you this. His name came up on my friend's suggestion list on Facebook, and he had the Israel flag on his profile. And that is the last time I will ever talk to him. I'm not going to give him a reason. I'm not going to respond to any messages if he ever tries to reach out to me. Maybe he can do the math and figure out why. That is how every single one of them needs to be treated. They need to be cast out like lepers. Period. You still put that fucking flag on your profile picture right now? You're aiding in you are a war criminal as far as I'm concerned. You are aiding and abetting it. Support the Justice for Hind Rajab Act. Demand they support the Justice for Hind Rajab Act so that there is a credible investigation, real accountability, and an end to the normalization of Israeli violence against civilians and those who risk their lives to save them. Now, remember her face, remember what she stands for, because you are never going to have justice. The only justice is going to come from the street. That's the justice.